Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening.
Mike, check. Justin Hunt, it's all happening. Thank you guys for rocking with me. As always, I didn't post an episode of the show last week. I actually had COVID, and I was sick. I was literally down in bed, sweating through it. I'm about 89% there, so I appreciate you guys, those of you who reached out, your concern, your well wishes. Feeling a lot better. So finally got a new episode for you this week, but before, I want to thank everybody who's donated to the Linktree and to the Cash App. You guys literally make it possible for me to post as often as I have been. If you'd like to donate, the link's in the description or in the Cash App's right up there, so feel free to do so. Awesome episode today. I've been thinking about this quite a bit. Let's get into it. It's all happening. Now, here's a theory for you to completely disregard. Compton MC Jason Martin, formerly known as Problem, was on Bootleg Kev talking about his new album with DJ Quick. It's called Chupacabra, which means goat killer, as well as Kendrick Lamar's Shakespearean shakedown of Drizzy, Drake, and all things OVO. He recalled a text conversation he had with Dot immediately after Family Matters dropped. Here's a clip.
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna give you some real insight as you hearing this first. They dropped Family Matters. And I text him, I'm like, this ain't it. He's like,
at all.
I'm like, this ain't gonna get it. I was like, man, it's time to step on his head. He was like, say less. I'm thinking we just text. It ain't nothing deep like that. Right. I go to the bathroom. I come back. The motherfucking song is uploaded. I said, wait. I text him like, nigga, you already. He's like, man, I've been waiting for this nigga to drop something. So he didn't even know what he was going against. Man, Drake shot a video and all this shit, man.
That boy was sitting at the
Dodge
crib.
Caravan. Boom. You listen.
Suck the life out of the whole moment for Drake.
Sometimes you just got to know what to do and what not to do.
Sometimes you got to know what to do and what not to do. Big facts, big facts. If there was ever a question of the greatness of King Kendrick Lamar, the way he crashed Aubrey's party minutes after Family Matters release should serve as a reminder. I mean, seriously, from concept to execution, Meet the Grams will forever live on as an haunting admonition that Candyman Kendrick cometh. But there was another moment in that Bootleg Kev interview that stood out to me. Kev and Jason were talking about how they expected Drake to take an L in this matchup the whole time. Here's Jason.
You had some inside info, I'm sure.
I was able to have different conversations with the internal Compton unity community. And we were all just knowing how this was going to end. We were like, every move, it was like a chess game. We were just watching it. It was dope. It was dope to see. It was dope to actually get some insight from the man himself, knowing like, oh yeah, let's rock, let's do it. But it never got to the point where it was like, we're gonna fucking fight or shoot. So I was able to enjoy it.
Did you catch that? The internal Compton unity community. I love that phrasing. I mean, it just feels empowering. It feels like a city improvement committee or a superhero collective, you know? Could be anything. And I wonder who's on it. I mean, Jason's from Compton, that part's clear. So are the Williams sisters. They're from Compton. Are they on the internal Compton unity community? Who knows? Actor Anthony Anderson, he's from Compton. So is Kevin Costner. I didn't know that, but it's true. There's a ton of epic, groundbreaking rappers. NWA, DJ Quick, MC Aight, Game, Westside Boogie, RJ, Roddy Ricch, YG, just to name a few. Maybe it's a bunch of really dope people who aren't famous. I mean, just the idea of this internal Compton unity community that Jason Martin probably coined right there on the spot on the top of his head just sparked so many interesting thoughts. Compton is such a rich and righteous and pioneering and proud city that celebrates itself when the world counts them out, that stands together when outsiders attack. For example, there was an odd moment at the beginning of Drake's Family Matters where he says, you know who really bang a set? My nigga YG. You know who really bang a set? My nigga Chuck T. You know who even bang a set? My nigga CB. That whole setup felt super out of place. I mean, it's as if Drake is doing his best to prove he still has friends. Yeah, CB, YG, Chuck T, they still like me. I promise, they do, yeah. Now, the CB he references is Chris Brown, which is a tone-deaf salute considering the final third of Family Matters is spent accusing Kendrick of being a wife beater, and Chris Brown famously beat the brakes off Rihanna. Now, Drake and YG have collaborated on multiple tracks, including Who Do You Love, so I guess Drizzy felt comfortable name-dropping him on a diss track aimed at Kendrick. But YG is from Compton, and by all accounts, he didn't appear to appreciate being used as a left tackle during Aubrey's Hail Mary. He confirmed as much on his very own Drake diss, Weird, which is littered with subliminals at the Canadian pop star. Subs like, you a weirdo, effing on weird hoes, we don't go near those, and you ain't Pyru, stop talking Pyru business, and niggas weird, pillow talking to hoes, you don't support the bros, you ain't living by the code. Drizzy fits all three descriptions, so yeah, YG was not happy with Drake's weird-ass clout chase. So even if he isn't on Jason Martin's awesomely titled internal Compton Unity Community, in this confrontation, he's unified against Drake, just like just about everybody else out here on the West Coast. Everybody not named Game, that is. When Drake says, you know who really bang a set, my nigga Chuck T, he's referring to Game. Super MC, platinum-selling artist, West Coast champion, absolutely one of Compton's finest. His debut album, The Documentary, sold 5 million out the gate, instantly classic. Before the rise of Kendrick Lamar, Game was the face, the leader of the New West, carrying the flag for his city and arguably all of California during the 2000s, a largely quiet decade for breakthrough new rappers from both coasts. Kendrick even points out Game's impact on the city, a track off Game's 2011 release, The Red Album. Game used his mic time to cement his lyrical legacy, dubbing himself the Black Slim Shady in the process, accurately boasting how he carried the West. Still a fairly new artist at that time, K-Dot performs the hook, then closes the song with a blistering verse representative of the unyielding fire that consumes just about all of his stanzas. He said, Game came through, put the city on his back. I was in the city where a nigga hadn't seen that shit. Compton, a nigga gotta scream that shit. Incredible song. The two titans link again on Me, the second track off Game's 2015 release, The Documentary 2. Fresh off To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick had now reached global superstar status with two classics in tow at that point, and both artists celebrated each other's success throughout the song. For example, Kendrick closed the first verse with, Documentary had identities of where I'm from, therefore my energy had to make sure the better me won. It ain't no better one, son. It ain't no telling me nothing. Nigga, that's Chuck, Doc Dre, and K. The legacy's done. Blow. Game returns the energy, ending the track with, Westside, that's on Bloods. This text fly, that's on Bloods. You fuck with Dot, I'll let you choke on your blood. The respect is there, the love is oozing, the verses are immaculate, the track is fantastic. You fuck with Dot, I'll let you choke on your blood. Game's clearly got Kendrick's back. But again, this is 2015, 2 years after Kendrick Lamar put the rap world on notice with his verse on Big Sean's Control. Everyone got the friendly hip-hop competition memo except for Drake, who took the sentiment personally, igniting the decades-long Cold War that went nuclear in 2024. The irony though, on that same album, The Documentary 2, 15 tracks later, Game seemingly allows Drake to sneak diss Kendrick on 100. Drake raps, I'd have all your fans if I didn't go pop and I stayed on some conscious shit. Then invited Drake to Compton to appear in the music video. I mean, really think about this. The world knows Drake and Kendrick have issues. Then you tell the world on your album that you fuck with Dot, I'll let you choke on your blood. Then 15 tracks later, on that same project, you literally let someone who's in the middle of actually fucking with Dot diss him on your album, then invite that person to diss him in your video in y'all's city. Jesus. I mean, it doesn't take a West Coast political analyst to know that some tough conversations took place in the aftermath of that situation. But that verse and that Compton video shoot marked a major salvo in the war between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, and Game inexplicably planted himself right in the middle of it. HipHopDX asked Game about that Drake diss in 2022, and he gives an all rhymes matter type response. He says, I didn't feel like that. I didn't feel like he dissed him, and if I did, I wouldn't have put the song out. Like I said, Kendrick's my brother. I love him too. But if Drake was subliminal and slipped something in, again, he's one of the best to ever do it, so it's hip-hop. Even Kendrick is lyrically equipped to catch any stray and return fire, so I think that at the end of the day, it's all good hip-hop. I think that sometimes rap battles, even subliminally in songs, are healthy for hip hop too. Because if you think about it, or no matter how you think about it, it's competition. There's only one #1 spot at the top of Billboard or the top of any chart. Everybody wants to have it. DX even asked him who he thought would win in a battle between Kendrick and Drake, and Game said, "Who I got? Lyrically? I don't know, man. Kendrick is just too fucking incredible. And then Drake is so dope too, man. I mean, I would just like to be a fan of the moment and sit back and watch two of the greatest artists of all time have a go."
What do you mean by that?
I didn't feel like he dissed him, and if I did, I wouldn't have put the song out. But if Drake was subliminal, he's one of the best to ever do it, so it's hip-hop. Subliminal disses are healthy for hip-hop too. Who I got lyrically, I don't know. I would just like to be a fan and sit back and watch. I mean, Jesus, I guess Game could be a part of the internal Compton unity community, but quotes like this right here, this don't feel like it.
No.
Game did a lot of press in 2022. At the time, he was pushing his gargantuan project Drillmatic and went on an eyebrow-raising media blitz, hoping to generate enough interest to make a major splash on the charts. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. He enlisted 28 guest appearances to generate 25,000 units first week. We covered it all in the Game Going Outside breakdown. Check it out if you missed it. But during that 2022 press run, along with playing both sides in the Drake vs. Kendrick Cold War, he told Drake champs that Kanye West did more for his career than Dr. Dre, and that he put the G in 50 Cent's G Unit. Then he sat with I Am Athlete and described how hurt he was that he wasn't invited to perform at the Super Bowl along with the rest of the iconic Dr. Dre family tree. In that conversation, he said, "We on the West Coast are the only motherfuckers who have this crab in a barrel mentality where we want to keep niggas down. Snoop Dogg was there because he's safe and he's a legend. Snoop is icon. Dre is icon. M is icon. But M is not from LA. 50 is not from LA. I'm not taking away from the fact that they were on the Super Bowl, but LA niggas wouldn't have been in the Detroit Super Bowl or the New York Super Bowl. It just wouldn't have happened." Then he says this, "Kendrick is not his Super Bowl. Snoop is not his Super Bowl. The fucking Rams was in the Super Bowl, bro. LA, all around the Super Bowl, and I didn't get the call. I was hurt by that. Snoop is icon, Dre is icon, M is icon. I mean, the only non-icons per game are 50 Cent and Kendrick Lamar. One icon he's been beefing with for 20 years, and the other an icon with an iconic catalog from his own city. Maybe I'm reading into it. Forget I said anything, but judging from that self-sabotaging press run in 2022 where he disrespects Dr. Dre, plays the middle on Kendrick versus Drake, then makes the blundering decision to directly diss Eminem on Drillmatic on a song called The Black Slim Shady, which he dubbed himself 11 years prior on The City featuring Kendrick Lamar, then it's fair to say, more than fair to say, that Game is out here looking crazy when it comes to Aftermath and TDE. Internal Compton unity community, this absolutely ain't.
No!
All of this made Game's positioning in the battle of Drake versus Kendrick Lamar stand out like a green hat with an orange bill. I mean, this was a time of supreme unity. Us versus them. Culture versus the colonizer. Compton versus the Canadian. They not like us. And Game, absolutely one of Compton's finest and former leader of the New West, Game had an opportunity to reinforce support for an artist from his city, represent for his whole coast, just like YG did when he dropped Weird. But what did Game do? What did he do? The exact opposite. Check this out. On April 16th, following the release of Drake's Push-Ups, Game made a post of him listening to Drake's Energy on IG. "I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of this energy." Then he captioned it, "I got rap niggas that I gotta act like I like, but my acting days are over. Fuck them for life."
What did you say, nigga?
Then on May 10th, a week after Kendrick's Not Like Us packed Drake up, Game decided to drop Freeway's Revenge, a diss track aimed at Rick Ross. Rick Ross was part of the Rap Avengers. He coined the phrase BBL Drizzy and essentially acted as Kendrick's troll team, keeping a digital foot on Drake's neck during the entire battle. We covered this all in Drake Deserves the Smoke episode of It's All Happening. Check it out if you missed it. Freeway's Revenge is a great diss track, but the optics are divisive, and considering the number of Kendrick Lamar references, it can easily be mistaken for antagonistic, not to Rick Ross, but to Candyman Kendrick himself. Check these bars. Here's one. "This ain't the Kendrick beef, my Drake sings songs." Here's another. My K-Dot shit, I don't have to turn the beam on. A third one, bad kid, good city, I studied the art of war. I mean, he's supposedly going at Rick Ross. Why mention Kendrick's name at all? Game called in the Joe Budden podcast and tried to explain the unexplainable. When asked why he dissed Ross, he said, a nigga sitting around just trolling. Nigga, keep that same energy, nigga. Bum heads with a nigga that really do this shit.
You niggas starving.
Bad kid, good city, I studied the art of war. Ross sitting around trolling, keep that same energy, bump heads with a nigga that really do this shit. From the same guy that said subliminals in hip-hop are healthy in this exact scenario. From the same guy that said Ye did more for him than Dr. Dre. From the same guy that brought Drake to Compton to diss Kendrick on his own song. Call it what you want, but there's a theme here. There's a theme here. Game is a phenomenal rapper, blessed with one of the best pens in hip-hop history. Posting Drake after push-ups, a point in time when many, maybe outside of the internal Compton unity community, had the foresight to see how this battle was going to turn out, who thought it might have been a toss-up. Posting Drake then, that's one thing. But directly dissing a K-Dot ally after Not Like Us captures the zeitgeist while including several line-straddling lyrics referencing the Compton kid is a whole nother thing. Game clearly has issues with Rick Ross, but it's starting to feel like Game has issues with Kendrick Lamar too. The question is why? Maybe it's jealousy or envy or a reluctance to assume a older mentor, uncle role to the next generation, or pining for the days when you were the leader of the New West. Maybe seeing someone you inspired surpass your accomplishments and take your place as the reigning king of Compton is a pill too ill to swallow. Maybe Game's penchant for demolishing allegiances and voting himself off the island has led him to a place where more and more he's starting to look like an artist without any allies, at least in an industry sense, an organizational sense, and Aubrey and OVO are the last best option to align with. Maybe he still sees value in a Drake feature. Maybe he felt justified. Maybe he concocted a narrative that Kendrick sneak dissed him because Game's One Blood starts like this.
Dre, I see dead people.
And Kendrick's Not Like Us starts like this.
Psst, I see dead people.
But on Juneteenth 2024, Kendrick Lamar is going to take the stage for the first time since smacking Drake with a Shakespearean shakedown. This will be epic. The show is being billed as Ken and Friends, and it's going to resonate as a celebration of Los Angeles, of California, of Black history. And I highly expect Jason Martin and plenty of other suspected members of that internal Compton unity community to take the stage. It'll undoubtedly be LA's biggest, most significant hip-hop experience since that Super Bowl that Chuck T's iconic former allies didn't invite him to. What are the odds? What are the odds that once again, Game will be left standing on the sidelines? And if so, does he deserve it because he earned it? I don't have the answer to these questions.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening.